Okay, Lord Math II of Golden Grove has created the title High Lordship of the North March. I don't think it has anything to do with us. That's all in the Reach. Paramount Balin II of the Iron Islands has founded the lower crown authority in the Iron Throne. So what is our current realm authority? It's currently medium. He wants to lower it to limited. Supporters. I can't actually make a decision on this myself, but I'm kind of curious where... Lord Denley of Blackwater Rush, the Thorns, has founded the Prince Viserys for the Iron Throne faction. Okay. That's the thing that's happening. There's Alistair Thorne, by the way, up at the wall, who always gives Jon Snow a bad time. The warriors of the Dread Fort who have put their name forward for the melee have arrived in the Dread Fort. A great feast shall be held, and then all shall enter the fighting battles upon the morrow to begin the battle. Let the fight begin. Okay. So, I sort of need to figure out what we're going to do. What's our plan? Do we just sort of hold off in the Dread Fort? Do we wait for sort of the big events to happen that we're expecting to happen? Do we try to make a move and change things? I was thinking about maybe trying to kidnap, like, Daenerys or something. Not too sure. Not too sure. Alright. The early stages of the melee were chaotic and frenzied, and has left fields trampled and villages half torn down. Many have been forced to leave the battle either by injury or defeat, and the final warriors are left to fight to be champion. This is too exciting. We'll watch each fight intensely. We're just going to do this. This is too exciting. Sir Joseph Ironsmith and Alysanne Umber sight each other and engaged in combat. So who's this? Sir Joseph Ironsmith of the Ironsmiths. His father is the Lord Yorn of Withered Heath. Okay. And Alysanne Umber, so one of the Umbers, in fact, Lord John's, the Great John's daughter, are fighting. Alysanne accidentally died at Sir Jothus' hand. Her lifeless body is removed from the field while Sir Jothus seeks a new opponent. So she died, unfortunately, in the melee, which is too bad. She was quite a nice person. Good traits to her. Today my son Ramsay asked me for a fief of his own to govern. I don't know if I want to give Ramsay a fief. I promised to arrange it. I mentioned the wall. Is he even legitimized? No, but I can give him a cadet dynasty. Well, that's not bad. Or propose a foreign tour. Or assemble a mercenary company. If I gather some men under the command of Ramsay and make them available for anyone to hire, you'll gain part of the income that the company brings in when hired by another party. Oh, that's not a bad idea. I could make him the head of a mercenary group. If I send him on a foreign tour, there's no telling what will happen to him. Or I can give him a cadet dynasty. Do I want to give him a cadet dynasty? I'm not entirely sure about that. I'll promise to arrange that. Pause it. Ramsay Snow will become the head of a new dynasty and is promised a title. He loses the bastard trait. He'll gain the legitimized bastard trait. He will get an event. He won't very... It doesn't look like you'll like me very much. You know, we're going to have you assemble a mercenary company. I think that's probably the best option for you. So Ramsay Snow is the captain of the Dread Fort Band. They don't really have the best shield, do they? Dread Fort Band. Can we change the look of the flag? It doesn't look like it. Because you can usually with your own titles. Well, you can change the... Yeah. I don't think I can change that, but I can... Do I want to change the... This is the Dreadfort Band. Let's just retitle it the Dread... The Dread Band? If I like the band part. The Dread Band. We'll just go with the Dread Band for now. So he's still in my court, it looks like. Send troops to company. Send equipment to company. And dissolve it. So we'll start by sending some troops. I have possibly send troops to Ramsey and the Dread Band to reinforce them. Send more soldiers, plus 100 infantry, or plus 100 cavalry. Let's give him some cavalry. And we also just want to name this Dread Band, not the Dread Band. Or the adjective just wants Dread Band. Right? Yeah. Dread Band. Okay. So that takes care of him, but I think I lost him as a commander. I lost him as a bodyguard. That's fine. Roger, you can be my bodyguard. Show commanders. Oh, we did lose him as a commander. Let's let the time tick a little bit. And then... Can I assign you as a commander now? No. So let's go ahead and assign... Does anybody have... Not really, so I just... We'll just do Rob, I guess. He's not the best, but he'll do. Now, what is my council looking like? So my positions... So my castellan is Master Jor of Fleischer's Keep. Is he the best person? Not quite, Heek is, but he is a vassal, so... but he's not a powerful vassal. Hey, Williams, the DLC is compatible with all the DLC. What I usually do is, so this version of the Game of Thrones mod just came out this last week. It's 1.1, and it's compatible with everything, including the new Conclave DLC, and it also integrated Horse Lords into it. So I turn off Sunset Invasion, but you can have it on if you want to. Otherwise, it's compatible with all the DLC. In fact, I think you'd have to go to the main website to find out which ones are required, but I'm pretty sure almost all the DLC is required in order for it to run. But I don't hold me to that. If you have all the DLC, though, you're good to go. I am running some mods, sub-mods as well, so I have the Game of Thrones mod, but I also have the Bloodlines sub-mod, which does things like, you see here on Ned Stark, he has a trait, the Stark bloodline. It just adds the bloodlines of the major houses into the game. What else am I running? I think I'm running the sub-mod for units. Hi, Loopy178. What else? Yeah, I don't blame you, Williams. I never run with Sunset Invasion. If you have all the other DLC, though, you can go ahead and run 1.1 of the Game of Thrones mod just fine. So I have unit submod, which changes the actual sprites of the units to work with their culture. So, like, for instance, the Dornish troops will actually look like they'll look like Dornish troops. Hi, Loopy. Valyrian steel swords. So you have the ones like this one. There's ice that Ed has. You can do an ambition. Like, I currently have the ambition to improve combat ability. But you can choose an ambition to gain a Valyrian steel sword, and if you're lucky, an event will pop up, and you go on this big journey. You have to leave your regent behind to rule your country, and you go on this big journey to find a Valyrian steel sword. If you come from a house that has one or had one historically, like for instance, if you're a Lannister and you choose that ambition to get a Valyrian steel sword and you succeed, then the Valyrian steel sword you'll get is Bright Roar, which is the traditional sword for House Lannister. The Boltons, I don't think, ever had a traditional Valyrian steel sword, so if you succeed at it, what it'll do is it'll give you a whole list of like 20 different sword names that you can choose, and so there is a way to do it. It's just sort of, some of it's a bit of RNG, you know, hopefully getting lucky that the quest actually pops up. I usually do succeed at it, though, and I've done in the past, I've succeeded. Let me see. Master Hoster Trent and Rickard Little sight each other and engaged in combat. After a fierce duel, Master Hostin prevailed, forcing Rickard to yield. Rickard Little. So I'm currently hosting a melee, so there's all these little combat things popping up. After many hours of intense battle, only Daisy Mormont and Master Hostin Trent remained in the field. They engaged in the final duel, which Daisy won after forcing Master Hostin to yield. This leaves Daisy to proclaim the winner of the melee. So Daisy Mormont, who is... How are you related to the other Mormonts? Oh, you're Mage... You're Lady Mage's daughter. Okay. So, Mage Mormont, who rules Bear Island, since Jaor is off at the wall. And, of course, his son, who's not there right now. But he's around. So, worthy winners, we gain opinion. Good. Alright. So one thing I thought about doing with, because I have a very high intrigue as Roose Bolton, was possibly trying to kidnap Daenerys Targaryen, who's currently in Braavos. It's something I can do, and then I can keep her in hiding, and possibly use her for something in the future. Maybe force her to marry a kid of mine, or sort of support her claim to the throne. I thought about it. She's 13. I can... the plot power is not very high. It's only 57%. That is unfortunate. How about Viserys? What can I do with Viserys? That's even lower. I don't really want to deal with Viserys. I'd rather be doing something with her. I mean... Yeah, no. I'll have to scrap that plan until I get some more plot power in order to do it. Lords of the North have approved the institution of the Levy-Shifted Noble Obligations Law. So that is this, and at the North. So Ned Stark is demanding more levy, basically, if he ever calls us to war. Alright, after many hours of intense battle, the melee is over. The final group provided a fine spectacle for all those present. Doubtless songs will be made about the great Dreadfort melee of 8297. Thank you all for coming. I get a huge opinion boost and prestige from my friends, which is good. Alright. So, here we are on the Dreadfort. Is there anything we can build? We don't really have the money to build anything, unfortunately. Because I used all my money on the melee. Anything I want to do here? I don't think so. We should probably assign my council members to actually do their work. So, let me see. Pacify province. Yeah, well, I could start plotting against Ned. That might not be a bad idea. I'd have to have a long-term plan, though. What would my long-term plan be, though, with Ned Stark? All of his kids are still alive. Again, coming in later, this is 2 years prior to the events of the TV show and the first book. So Robert Baratheon is still on the throne. Jon Arryn's dead. He's been killed. But Ned Stark, I don't believe, has been called to be handed the king yet. Let me see. Let's train troops in the Dreadfort. Collect taxes. We want to... You have a 0 intrigue. No wonder. You're getting replaced. I don't care if you are a powerful vassal. Heek. I want you to scheme in the Dreadfort. Kidnap Sansa. Not a bad idea, actually. Not a bad idea at all. One second, I think I want to assign these around a little bit. So let's make you there, and see, stewardship. Nah, we'll leave that there. What are you, diplomat? You know, Lud, you're awful, but I have to keep you because you're a powerful vassal. New commander of the Dread Fort will make Duncan commander. Could I kidnap Sansa? Well, let's check it out. Sansa Stark. 10 years old. 61% plot power. That's not too good. That'd be my initial plot power and possible plot power. There's no one really there to plot against me. I mean, I could send my spy master to sort of work in there. How about Arya? Arya is about the same. Jon Snow. He's about the same. All in the 60s. Just not quite enough. Really. Warden North. Actually, I have a higher plot power chance to kidnap Ned himself, which is kind of strange. Alright. I'm trying to think of what else we could do with the Starks right now. I mean, I could fabricate claims. I could try to fabricate a claim on Winterfell itself. If my guy has a high enough... He doesn't. Do I have someone who has a high enough one? I don't. Because if you can get a Justiciar who has a diplomacy of 15 or higher, there's always a small chance that they'll actually lay claim on an entire high lordship rather than just a one county lordship. I'd have to replace Lud, though, which I'm a little unwilling to do. I already have one vassal who's not so happy with me, although it doesn't quite work the same as in the base Crusader Kings 2. What they did for the Game of Thrones mod is that sort of powerful vassal modifier, which wants them to be on your council, they reduced in Game of Thrones because it didn't really thematically make as much sense with Game of Thrones. So while they do want to be on the council, it's not as much of a modifier so you don't have to put them on the council if you don't want to. Okay. The lack of piety I have observed in one of the courtiers makes me worried. I wouldn't want to accuse anyone of not being a good follower of the faith, but if my suspicions are correct, then something needs to be done. Who's the courtier? Oh, Lud Whitehill. Well, that makes sense. Confront the courtier about his lack of piety or expose the courtier as being unpious. I don't know if I want to work against Lud, to be honest, so we'll just confront him about his lack of piety. Right. Let's check in on some of our other people. I saw something about Mance Raider. He's become the tall talker. There was a cough there. Is he sick? No, he's not sick. Nope. Alright. Mace is doing something. I don't know what. How are the Freys doing? Still Walder Frey. 89 years old. There's little Robert Aaron. Still doing Robert Aaron's thing, which is sucking his mother's teat, as far as I can tell. Is Peter Baelish? Oh, there's Peter Baelish. Yeah, he's Master of Whispers. Why is he Master of Whispers and not Varys? Where is Varys? Where did Varys go? Let's see if we can find Varys. Varys, you are currently... Oh. You've gone to the Great Arm. So you're here at the Great Arm. How strange. Can I invite you to court? Can I send you a gift and invite you to court? Did that work? It did. Invite to court. No. You know, we're going to keep you as special interest, because if I can keep on schmoozing you, basically, and maybe I can get you up to my court. It'd be nice to have Varys in my court. Alright, we'll continue. Mace is doing his thing. The Dornish are doing their thing. It looks like people are just dealing with pirates at the moment. Renly got married to Sorella Sand, one of the sand snakes.